a 2, a 3, a 4.
We are Movie Menu Reviews. Come with me if you want to podcast. On today's episode, we'll be reviewing Terminator Dark Fate.
Get in the chopper!
Get in the chopper. Welcome, ladies and gents. I'm Dan the Man Muñoz, host of Movie Menu Reviews, your weekly movie news and reviews podcast.
All right.
Live on Facebook. If you're watching us on Facebook Live, thank you so much. We appreciate it. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, SoundCloud, or wherever you listen to your podcast, thank you as well.
Yeah.
I'm joined today by welcoming back Z.
Hey! Thank you for welcoming me back. And
Halloween was such a scary holiday for him. He couldn't be here.
I could not. Was that during Halloween? I don't even remember. Yeah, Halloween was like a month long this year, so I got confused.
It's always a month long. It's my favorite holiday.
It was. I think people wore their costumes for the whole month.
For the whole month. It was crazy. Yeah.
I'm still wearing my costume.
I mean,
my
clearly.
Dan costume.
Yes.
The man.
Because you're a reptilian underneath it all.
I am. I mean, shut up. Also joining me is my fellow reptilian, Mike Stan. Oops. I guess I shouldn't have given that away.
Don't add him like that, dude. That's not cool.
So we got so much to cover. So let's go ahead and get into some movie news. First up, speaking of Halloween season, they came out with the new trailer for The Grudge, which is a remake. What did you guys think about the new trailer for The Grudge? Does it look like something that's interesting?
It was pretty interesting. It kind of seems more like, I don't know if you guys felt the same way, but it almost felt more like an art house. Maybe not art house, but it didn't seem like your typical like jump scare
movie.
Yeah, it's produced by Sam Raimi, directed by Nicholas Pesce.
Yeah, Pisces?
Pisces?
No, I'm just
sure. He doesn't have a lot of films under his belt.
He doesn't.
But with producer Sam Raimi at the helm, maybe it should be pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not excited about it.
I mean, it comes out in January, which January
we
is
know
known as a dumping ground for movies.
We do know that's a dumping ground.
But the cast, I mean, John Cho, Damien Bichir, that seems like an interesting cast.
And you know what? John Cho
has
done such a good job of like remarketing himself.
Yeah,
he was used to be a stoner only kind of comedian, and now he's kind of gone into be more mature horror. So, did you guys ever watch the one he did?
Searching?
Searching, which was fantastic. So
I really like Searching.
Yeah, so I'm willing to watch it. I'm not interested in it, but I'm willing to watch it.
Well, lucky for you, it won't be on our docket to review because it's in January.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Or maybe Mike will be a dicks and make him watch it anyways.
I'll probably watch it anyways. I mean, let's be fair.
I'll watch it anyways as well. So
awesome.
That's fine.
All right, next. So we give The Grudge an interesting dine-in of watching from the trailer.
Just it's a takeout. Watch it when you can.
Something that you won't be able to watch when you can is the Star Wars trilogy that has been canceled by Game of Thrones creators, David Benioff and D.B. Weiss.
Well, let's try that again. So they were not the ones who canceled it. David Benioff and David Weiss. I forgot their first names. They're actually
D.B. Weiss and David Benioff.
There we go. They're known as Benioff and Weiss. They're a duo for people who don't know.
Oh, D&D.
D&D. Yeah. They actually wrote Game of Thrones, and they're well known.
Well, they didn't write Game of Thrones.
The TV
George
show.
R. R. Martin wrote Game of Thrones.
Let's be clear. They
adapted the book into a TV series.
Hold on, you're jumping. They wrote Game of Thrones. George R. R. Martin wrote Song of Ice and Fire. That's entirely two different vehicles. And so, anyways, Benioff and
the first book is Game of Thrones.
Benioff and Weiss. So they're a duo now, and they were actually set,
whether they like it or not.
And they were set to write the Star Wars movies. And I think that post. The debacle and the terribleness of season 8 Game of Thrones, people are now looking at them as, well, are they actually that talented? And sure enough, they have now been removed from the next Star Wars trilogy. They claimed, said getting to talk about Star Wars with George Lucas and the current Star Wars team was a thrill of a lifetime. but they apparently had signed a deal with Netflix, which is this amazing big financially deal that they won't actually have the time to do it. Kathleen Kennedy, who is the director,
president
of Lucasfilms, went ahead and said David Benioff and Dan Weiss are incredible storytellers. We hope to include them in the journey forward when they are able to step away from their busy schedules to focus on Star Wars. However, I don't know if that's actually a legit, statement.
No, they also came out. They did this interview on somewhere where they talked about how they accidentally came up with Game of Thrones, and they didn't know why George R. R. Martin trusted them.
They were saying,
yeah.
Okay, I didn't hear that.
But then they also came out saying that they were afraid of toxic fandom from the Star Wars fans because they've experienced it with the Game of Thrones toxic fandom.
and they were scheduled to originally go to Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con, and they canceled that because a lot of the backlash from Game of Thrones was going to show up to the Star Wars, and they weren't there.
It was a huge debacle.
Huge. And so
even some of the main cast didn't show up too.
But I'm thinking that what's going on is Kathleen Kennedy understands fandom. She knows that the Lucasfilm property is even at that teetering on the edge of not making good products. And so I think that they're making a smart move. They're kind of pushing them back.
That is of course opinion, but yeah, sure.
You're saying you love Solo?
I did. I came out and said I love Solo.
Okay.
Dan was the only one.
Only one, yeah.
I wasn't the only one, but amongst us, yeah, sure. I was the only one.
And I mean, at least if you look at Rotten Tomatoes and you look at the scale of things, the only one movie of the modern Star Wars that people really enjoyed was Rogue One. And so that's what I mean.
Force Awakens was popular.
It was slightly popular, but then people really kind of caught on and were like, oh, J.J. Abrams just adapting the old stories. Rogue One was the one that was most original, and which is why they're doubling down on that side of storytelling, which is why we have The Mandalorian, which is why we have all the other little small offshoots that are actually going to be more world building and less focused on the Skywalker series. So I think that David Benioff and Dan Weiss being removed was actually a really smart move from Kathleen Kennedy. We know that she is a really good politician, or at least like a good financial person, because she got rid of Phil Lord and Chris Miller because they were sucking at making Solo. So you know that she knows when to drop contracts.
And she got rid of Colin Trevorrow as well. She got rid of the guy who was I can't remember his name, Josh Trank, who was supposed to do.
You're right, yeah,
a solo film as well.
Yeah, so I'm just saying that Kathleen Kennedy, when she knows that somebody's not, financially viable, she's quick to cut. She's like the Joker, drops a bad joke as soon as she finds it. Like, she knows how to cut.
Also, she needs to stop getting people who are hot at the time.
That's also a big issue.
And focus on like the artistic side of it.
Well, and Marvel does a really good job, and they're the same company, which is weird that they're not actually talking to each other.
It's different houses.
It's different houses.
It's like Lannisters and
it is.
And the Starks.
Yeah. And clearly, right now, the Starks, Marvel are doing such a good job.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with the Star Wars trilogy. Apparently, Rian Johnson's Star Wars trilogy is still happening. So.
Apparently, up until we hear further, because they might actually not be happening. You know how that is.
Which would be really sad.
Yeah.
And other sad news, and very, very sad news. Hollywood has been shook this whole week because, unfortunately, we lost a really good one. John Witherspoon passed away, and.
Yeah, he was famous for...
He was famous for being in the Friday movies.
Yeah.
Also Boondocks. His grandfather, who was so good in that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he was an amazing actor, performer, and he will be missed.
Yeah.
So rest in peace, John Witherspoon. Thank you for your arts.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and move on to switching gears to the review. For the movie we're going to talk about.
Movie menu.
Which Mike and I happened to see.
Yes.
Z did not because he's
not.
been busy with wedding stuff that's happening this week. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yay. I mean, you guys went to the bachelor party.
We did.
So, I'm just saying.
It was... Very mild. but in the best way possible.
In the best way possible. You know what? I'm a nerd, and
a bunch of nerds.
yeah, and all we did, we talked about board games and ate great food. That was essentially the night.
And drank some good whiskey.
And drank some good whiskey. Yeah. So I didn't get a chance to watch the movie.
But so Z will be hosting.
Yes.
But before we also do that, I wanted this time to also say it's not only Z's wedding this week, but it's also his birthday.
Oh, yeah.
So
It's tomorrow.
everyone help us and wish Z happy birthday. Do you want to sing?
We can. You want to do it?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Happy birthday to Z. Happy birthday to Z. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to Z.
Wow.
I like how off we were.
That was
I did that on purpose.
that was great.
I was like,
that was on purpose.
When I said Z, you said you. When you said Z, I said you. I was like, that's perfect timing.
Yeah,
Good job.
yeah.
You're welcome. I knew you were going to because you were like, oh no, I messed up. Let me fix it. So I was like, nope, I'm going to do it the other way.
You two are pretty awful. But thank you. I appreciate it.
On that note, take it away.
Take it away. So the movie we're reviewing is Terminator Dark Fate. It actually was a birthday gift that I did not get to watch this movie. The Terminator Dark Fate, rated R, directed by Tim Miller, written by James Cameron, David S. Goyer, Justin Rhodes, and Billy Ray. Not Cyrus, just Billy Ray. Starring Linda Hamilton, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mackenzie Davis, Natalia Reyes, and Gabrielle Luna. Did I miss anybody?
Gabriel Luna.
Gabriel.
What did I just say?
Gabrielle.
Oh, Gabriel. Sorry.
Gabriel, yeah.
Sorry. Here's the plot. Sarah Connor and a hybrid cyborg human must protect a young girl from a newly modified liquid Terminator from the future. Didn't we see this movie already? All right, whatever. Well, moving on. Depending on your spoiler-free review, I would decide this movie's worth to dine in, watch it in theaters, a takeout, watch it at home, or leftovers. Throw yourself into a vat of burning
Lava?
Lava? Yeah.
Okay,
Does that
that's
work?
good. Yeah,
Okay.
with your thumb.
With your thumb up.
Yeah, with
yes.
your thumb up.
Yeah, there you go.
Or thumb down.
Thumb down. That's right. That's
thumb
right.
down.
Thumb down.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Thumb
Why
down.
would you
that's
do a
right.
thumb up?
Oh, yeah, you're right.
If it's a
Your thumb to your right, thumb
'Cause-
down.
Yeah. All right. Now, whoever wins, actually, it doesn't matter because you guys can't earn points. So there we go.
Yep.
This is now only up for brownie points, and by brownie points I mean to be able to
Like actual brownies?
tease
That's
each
how it
other.
works.
I like brownies.
Yeah, you got to make us brownies now.
well, that's fine, but you're not going to enjoy what's in the brownies.
Oh, okay, then never mind.
It's poop. All right. Still might be good. All right. So, guys, go ahead and rate this film.
Mike, you can go first.
Mike?
Okay, you know what? It's a dine-in for me.
Wow.
Yeah, I
Mike
enjoyed
has given his movie a dine-in.
I
Everybody take account of that. Dan,
You haven't seen
So
it yet.
I saw this at IMAX thinking that it was going to be like a super awesome film because of all the explosions, the special effects. You know what? What's a dine-in?
all right. So,
You jerk.
so as a
But I'm going to say a soft dine-in. And you know how much I hate that stupid shit.
Yeah.
I would say it's a soft dine-in. It's obviously not better than T2.
nothing as good as T2.
Right?
Yeah.
And this is this has been better than the other.
Yeah.
So
This is-
comparatively, you're saying that this movie is better than the other 3 or 4
3.
sequels that have been released previously?
The-
But is that a false equivalency? Because listen, here's the thing: everybody on the internet, this movie has bombed entirely. This movie's been panned repeatedly as being equally, if not as bad as the other movies.
I disagree.
This movie
all I've heard has been nothing but positive reviews
from whom?
From online reviewers like us.
Name one.
I think this is one of those.
Harry Nemiroff from Collider.
All right. Okay.
Bam.
I think
Mike.
this is one of those movies where it's getting hate before people watch it.
Why do you
And
think that
It's
is?
very feminist.
Well, I think one
very
of the,
female centric.
Okay.
I think
sure.
one of the reasons why
Yeah.
is because of like how the franchise has been failing in the past. So
Okay.
it's kind of
It's left a ugly taste in your
Well, yeah, I was
mouth.
gonna say, do you feel like it's a dead franchise and people are not going to watch it?
No, well, I
mean, it might be now,
Clearly,
but-
because it's like, you know what I mean? Like no one went to go watch it. The movie failed miserably.
It was kind of like what happened with like Terminator, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like how people
Sure.
were so frustrated with the first that so many people refused to see the second.
And the second one was actually fun.
Which was unfortunate because the second one was more fun. And
Yeah.
I feel...
Same thing happened with Bumblebee.
Yeah.
That's true.
They were like, Transformers, no, we're not going to give it a chance. But Bumblebee came out, and Bumblebee was really good.
Okay.
And so it's like that type of...
But do you actually feel like this movie is like dine in? Like Mike, you said for sure dine in. Dan said soft dine in.
I
do you
agree
feel like
with-
this movie is like definitely like I guess does not live up to the standards of T2, but still is a great movie to watch?
No, I agree with Dan where it's a soft dine-in. But the main reason why, like, the biggest strength of this film is the action, and it delivers in that. And it grabbed me within like the first 5 or 10 minutes. I was like, oh, okay, it's like the actions.
There is some controversy in this film that I from what I read from comments from other people, piss a lot of people off.
You're talking about the first 20 minutes?
The first 20 minutes.
Got it. Okay.
So that was just spoiler.
We won't talk about those.
We won't talk about that till we
We'll-
go to spoiler section.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we will have a spoiler section.
Yes.
But I and there's some other things that were kind of like lame or dumb that didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But overall, Sarah Connor is nice to have her back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Linda Hamilton is what was missing in this franchise. She started it.
Well, a
she
lot
was
of things
in
were
part
missing in the
2.
franchise, but yes, you're right.
But most of all was Linda Hamilton.
Okay.
And I thought that she was such a badass in this movie.
Yeah.
And it continues off with T2 where she is still such a badass.
You said this movie was receiving hate because of its feminist message. Explain that.
Well, internet are fucking trolls and they don't like
But why would you even call this movie a feminist movie?
Because
Aside from the fact that there's 3 female leads. Like, you can't just say that 3 female leads makes a feminist movie. Like, was this movie actually feminist?
I agree with. We can't say more because it is a plot.
It's a plot.
Yeah. So when we get into spoilers, we can go more into detail. But I agree with Dan that there is a strong feminist message.
But is it like, I mean, obviously you have female characters who are leading the movie. Are they well-rounded characters? So talk vaguely about this movie for me, please, because you can't just say it's a feminist movie, but you can't actually talk about the feminist message. What is the feminist message in this movie?
That's a very funny.
That
funny
girls
question
can
to
kick
ask.
ass as much as men.
Oh, as much as men. Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that this movie clearly
There is, but in pointing it out, it would be a spoiler. So we will have to wait till the spoiler section to delve deeper into
that.
Just for the record, if you tell me that it's like something simple, and I'm gonna make fun of you.
But I feel like it the great thing about it is that it builds off of the story of the past, which I appreciated, off of referencing the very first Terminator, which I think was great.
When you say building things off the past, here's the thing about Terminator, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, the past makes no sense. It is the franchise has been littered in the same way that, say, like Fox's X-Men movies have been.
This is like Halloween. Like, the other films didn't exist. This is technically 3.
Okay.
So it's like if Rise of the Machine, Salvation, and Genesis never happened.
Do you feel like that hurts the movie in itself?
No,
because you walk in. I mean, like we've. I think, man, Dan, I don't know about Mike, but you've watched all the movies, right? Yeah. Like, does it not kind of? You don't at one point feel like
not at all.
That's weird.
It's
because the other films are not worth mentioning. I mean, granted, I did enjoy parts of Salvation.
Yeah.
Like, I did enjoy the fact that it was kind of a prequel sequel.
Yeah.
That I would say in the future, but the whole Sam Worthington storyline was like whatever.
It was awful, yeah.
But
and then you get a semblance of this is why I'm asking, because you get a semblance of that with the new character, Mackenzie Davis' character, a hybrid human. That's Sam Worthington's character. He was a hybrid human.
No, he wasn't. He was a robot.
He was a robot who was
human
thought
flesh.
he was human.
Yeah, which is some would say a hybrid. So that's what I'm saying. Like, does this movie kind of do you feel like it's borrowing from the other movies?
It's totally borrowing.
And
from
is it
all the
doing
other
it a
movies.
good job and readapting it?
So you're not going to be surprised with the plot in this. But it does deliver in the action, and I feel like that's the biggest strength of this film. Like, exactly.
It's actually there's a lot of nonstop action in this film.
Yeah, and exactly as you mentioned before, Z. Like, when you were reading off the synopsis of the film, you're like, haven't we seen this before?
Yeah.
And you totally get that. It's like why? And that's a whole separate argument against this film. It's like how many times are they going to repeat like T2 Judgment Day? It's kind of like the novellas where they keep repeating the same story, but they just have new actors. It's like why is there like a liquid Terminator? And why
we already saw
that. Yeah, but they're
and why do they only send one person back and not
and not multiples?
Not multiple.
But they're
right. If you have an army, send an army back.
But it isn't going to be like some amazing plot twist is the reason for you to see this. Like the action.
But there is a plot twist.
Okay, so you're saying that the audience is mainly going to watch the movie because of the action, so you should go watch it for the action.
Yes.
I mean, Tim Miller, I would say, did a great job with that aspect.
I was going to ask.
And also, I think Mackenzie Davis is also, and you know, I don't know if it was frustrating or it was awesome, but they gave Mackenzie Davis's character like how can I say, like, she wasn't perfect.
Okay, so she was flawed.
She was exactly. She was flawed, which made her human in the sense
because she is human.
Because she is.
And that's what I mean. Like when you mention like it's a feminist movie, but it's like the thing about Tim Miller. And here's the thing about Tim Miller: people have complained, people have talked about how sexist his general films have been. Like even if you look at Deadpool wasn't actually really descriptive or even. They didn't really develop the female character in that. She was just simply the girl in distress, right? That was her character. If you ever watch Sex, Robot, and was it Love, Death, and Robots?
Yeah, it's
a great show. But if you extrapolate the message of the women in that show, it's a very sexist show. And so that's what I'm asking. Like, do you feel like there's even growth in this movie? There's even characters in this movie that you really care about? Like, there is this savior, right? You have another savior in this movie played by Natalia Reyes. Does she seem like a very interesting character you want to follow?
She does.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about her without spoiling things, obviously.
Well, she's the new Sarah Connor, and that's given in the trailer.
As in, like, she's going to give birth to the Nick Savior?
I mean, you have to watch it to find out.
I'm going to take that as a guess.
But so you see the growth of how Sarah in the first Terminator has to grow up and like not be such a wuss. She's also in that peril.
Okay.
And so it's like that parallel between her and Sarah, and then actually having Sarah Connor there with her to show her the way as well was really cool to see, like the baton being passed down to the next generation.
Yeah, sure. Which I think is that was the intention of this film. I believe was to kind of reboot it with her, or that was like the sense of it.
Okay, Mike, you mentioned that the action, you're going to watch this movie for the action. What about the action here? Like we've seen a lot of Terminator movies. We know what limitations we have for action. Does this movie deliver anything new that we haven't seen previously?
This is probably, sorry, I know you asked Mike.
No,
this
go
has
ahead,
the most action in all of the Terminator movies.
Okay,
it's like and this is. I don't know if this is a compliment because I don't want to sway, but you know how Avengers Infinity War had so much action back to back?
Sure.
This movie is almost nonstop action.
Well, hold on, but that's not true. But
there was this one new thing that they added to like the liquid Terminator, which I thought was pretty interesting, which was that like he's
exoskeleton.
Yeah, he has like two machines. So it has like the metal skeleton Terminator that you've been familiar with the franchise. So he's actually able to detach himself from that, and then so it's kind of interesting.
Well, it's his liquid. So it's his liquid flesh that he's able to morph into other people,
which is T2. Yeah,
right. Yeah. And then is the T800, which is the skeleton.
Skeleton. Yeah. Okay.
So it's kind of cool when you start seeing that involved in the action. Like it's fun to watch, and there's just like more there is. I think they're just cooler action sequences. Like from the very beginning, you get. I keep calling him the Liquid Terminator. I forgot the actual.
Rev 9.
Rev 9.
Okay, it's the Rev 9. Like
not to be confused with the T-1000.
Yeah. Which it basically is, but he looks like Venom now instead of.
Oh, okay.
Pretty much. Well, it's the T-1000, the T-800 that were merged together because it's the exoskeleton, and then the T-1000. Liquid form that could leave itself.
Okay. Yeah. Can we talk about plot at all, or is that just not an option?
No, we can.
Okay. So what's going on in the story?
I mean, a lot of it's given away in the trailer. Actually,
Okay, so the training of a young girl, as Dan said,
and Sarah Connor, who's coming to protect her, and as Dan said earlier, show her the ropes of because she's been in the exact same situation.
But this machine is much harder to kill than the other one because it's basically the first and second movie villains combined into one.
Yeah.
So it's even harder for them to kill it.
See,
than normal.
I do think that's a very clever thing, and I wish they would have done that originally in whenever T3 came out. That's actually really smart to just do like part 1 you get the T800, part 2 you get the T1000, and then part 3 you
together,
get
they're merged.
the merged versions.
It's fun, but still, I wouldn't put your expectations too high either. there are some like bad lines in there where it's like.
I was going to get there.
So my thing is, and now this is not a spoiler, but I kind of wish Arnold Schwarzenegger was not in this movie.
I was going to ask.
I wish it was just Sarah Connor.
Yeah.
And just like her dealing with this stuff, because Arnold Schwarzenegger's story it's a mess.
Do you feel like that's what
that is why it's a soft?
Okay, I was going to ask. Is that why it ruins the movie?
I don't know if that
Arnold Schwarzenegger in this is like the comic relief. I think.
Why do you think he's in the movie?
Because he's a part of the franchise.
But that's not.
I don't think
we agree with that, but we're not Tim Miller or James Cameron.
I think he was less corny in this than the previous.
Okay, the last one was really corny.
I think it was better.
His whole plot line doesn't make sense, really.
Yeah,
to me?
It's kind of
He's living out in the woods.
It's underdeveloped. They're just like we got to have him in here.
Yeah. Arnold Schwarzenegger, he's available. Let's put him in there.
Yeah. So they kind of shoved that in there. But one of the things that bothered me was the amount of the line, the use of the line, "I'll be back."
No, really, they use it too much.
That's two more.
That's
than
one time too many.
Yeah, exactly.
but it's Sarah Connor uses it, and then Arnold Schwarzenegger uses it.
See, that's fine. I feel like that's fine.
It wasn't needed.
Okay,
all
right.
But they don't use "Come with me if you want to live,"
which is too bad because that's one of the best lines.
That's one of the best lines.
I think Sarah Connor says an equivalent of that.
Yeah, does she say "Come with me if you want to die"?
I honestly don't remember, but she doesn't say the exact phrase though. I was like kind of expecting her to say it, but
they do use the also because the reason why it's called Dark Fate because
thank you.
If you remember in T2 or T1 actually, Kyle Reese has this line where he says, "Thank you, Sarah, for your courage through the dark years. I can't help you with what you must soon face, except to say that the future is not set. The future is not set. There is no fate but what you make." So no fate.
But it's Dark Fate.
But they changed it in T2 because they stopped Judgment Day.
Sure.
So now it's a different fate that's happened to them. Dark Fate.
Okay, so my again, I'm going to refer back to X-Men once again, X-Men of a convoluted storyline. Does this movie fix it? Does this movie actually give us anything that we're willing to like walk away from going like, yeah, okay, I can now tell you what happens. Did you guys feel like? I mean, because it's so confusing, right? So does this movie actually feel like it's accomplishing something new?
No.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
Yeah, it's still the same stuff, and it's just like the next. This is like Saved by the Bell, the new class.
Oh wow! You're not winning any points with that one, man.
They said with the new class was pretty good.
Oh jeez.
Which is the one they said Screech and Belding in there.
Which is the one where they go on vacation, where they go to like Hawaii or something?
Oh, that was the same.
Was that the same one?
It was like it was like a TV.
Oh, okay.
Something. That's funny.
All right. Yeah.
So should we?
Oh yeah. Well, let's the final statements before we go into the spoilers section.
Okay.
Mike, go for it.
I think this if you don't expect any huge changes from this franchise, it's exactly like. It's very, very much like Terminator 2. As Dan had mentioned,
not as good though.
No, not as good. No, it's basically like a lesser version of T1 and T2 mixed together.
Okay,
but it doesn't deliver in the same way. But it still has some updated action sequences, which are super fun to watch, and that would be the main reason to watch this. Is
for nostalgia.
No, not for nostalgia.
Action nostalgia, like
the action.
Well, no, this action. I mean, we'll say the action is better.
Yeah, because I mean, it was like old CGI, right? Like it's
Right.
like let's be honest, like CGI in the '90s, and it wasn't that.
I mean, they kind
It
of
was
did
great,
pretty
revolutionary.
good, for the time, but they've upped their antes with the action.
But I do wish that they would just like stop building off of T2. Like that's what all
they have. Yeah,
and if they just stop using that as like the beginning of the next film and just start with something completely fresh, I'd really appreciate
cool.
that.
Dan, any final words?
I think they introduced some really cool characters. I do like Mackenzie Davis' character. I do like Tyler's character. I did love seeing Sarah Connor back.
Cool.
I think she was what was missing because it was always Sarah Connor's story to begin with.
That's true.
And to have her back, I thought was a smart move. And Mike is right. The action is really good. The only thing is Arnold is really miscast in this and shouldn't have been in this movie.
All right, gotcha. All right. With that being said, my verdict is takeout. I'm not going to watch the movie in the theaters, but I'll give you guys the points. Obviously, not existing
we don't have
points.
points.
You don't get points.
To be fair, I think this is a takeout for you, Z. I don't think you would enjoy this.
Enthusiastic about
the
this
only
at
thing
all.
is to see so I saw it in IMAX and I thought the action was awesome to see it in the big
I
screen.
believe you.
So I would say that for that reason to go watch it. But if you don't care about the action, all you care about is plot, then
and you know me, like I want to see a movie about plot. I want to see like my biggest problem with Edge of Tomorrow. And I remember Mike, we watching it together was that like when we first watched it before it got edited, was me writing a huge essay talking about consistency in storytelling. And I will still to this day say that I should have been credited for that movie because I like that they took my notes.
That'll be funny if they just like threw it away in the truck and they never read it.
But they fixed it and they did exactly what I had written. So maybe it's whatever. The point being, the problem with the Terminator franchise, it's never been consistent. That's been the biggest issue. But let's talk about.
But it's time travel, so how consistent can it really be?
Well, Doctor Who does a really good job. So I'm just going to say, let's go into spoilers and talk about the plot holes.
Before we do that,
sure.
We do have Brian Lozano who's stopping by to say hi.
Hi, Brian.
And he's excited
what's
to
up,
see
Brian?
it. Yeah, be excited. Go watch it.
Don't heighten his expectations.
I'm not. I'm just saying go watch it. All right. Let's move on to spoilers.
Yes.
Moving in.
And with the sign, spoilers are here.
So you have been warned. We are going to spoil
spoilers.
Terminator Dark Fate. So if you have not seen this film, please stop watching it and come back to us when you have, so that way we don't spoil anything.
Or if you just don't care, like me, you can just hang out anyways. So I have read a couple of spoilers on this movie, and I heard the biggest kind of moment
in the first 20 minutes.
It's the first 20 minutes, which is a bit of a Ned Stark sort of situation where you have the end of T2, in which you see John and Sarah riding into sunset. But then what happens?
The Terminator kills John.
Yeah, which is pretty amazing.
Which Terminator kills John?
The one that is Arnold Schwarzenegger in the that you see in the woods,
and it looks great. I was like,
"Oh yeah, it looked like Edward Furlong." Like
I was like, "How did they do it?" It looked amazing.
Yeah, okay, all right.
It looked like
it looked like if T2 ended and this one picked up.
Yeah, it looked
like the de-aging that they did for them was really amazing.
They tapped into the Marvel money.
They did.
It looked
great.
But
I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
I can understand them having a new person, which, in T3 and Rise of the Machine, they couldn't find John Connor, so they were killing like his
the other namesakes.
Generals, all the generals around, whatever. So I was like, they didn't have to kill John.
I'm so confused though. They didn't the whole okay. So T2 ends with Arnold sacrificing himself.
Yes,
because there's still one chip in my brain, so he's got to kill himself.
They sent another one.
They sent one back.
They sent another one.
Another one.
Another T800.
Okay.
And it kills him.
And so Sarah believes that they've all been wiped out. That they're finally safe, but they're in Guatemala. And they're at the beach.
Cool.
By the cabana. She has a margarita in hand.
Of course she does.
And
it sounds like Z's bachelor.
Yeah. And John goes to the bar to get a drink, like not an alcoholic drink, but like or food or something.
I mean, he's 16 years old, but whatever.
Yeah.
So it's Guatemala. Who cares?
So all of a sudden, you just see Arnold Schwarzenegger come up behind Sarah Connor. Linda Hamilton, and he just shoots John a couple times
with a shotgun.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
And it looks great too. I was like,
what the fuck?
So yeah, I'm guessing that's why Sarah Connor looks a little bit kind of
Angry.
more, angry, yeah.
Which is so. Flash forward.
Sure.
There is a new timeline that happens because of everything that happened with Judgment Day.
Yeah.
Where
Where there's
Danny's character
okay.
is
so Sky.
Yeah. So what happens? So Skynet gets destroyed. So now we have this Rev Systems or
Rev 9.
yeah. So Rev 9. What is he then? He's not
it's-
Skynet. I'm guessing.
No, it's not. It's now Legion.
Yeah, Legion is a
Well,
new,
that sounds evil. Like
So it
Skynet
was-
didn't sound evil initially. You're like, oh, Skynet sounds pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Well, but like they, I mean, we're going all spoilers, right? There?
yeah, we're
okay.
literally have a sign.
So how Legion comes about is specifically military weapons.
okay.
So which is why like it would be Legion.
What
yeah, that's the creation of it of military AI systems, and then basically it's Skynet with a new name, but the exact same thing happens, so
Judgment Day happens.
Judgment Day happens, but now as with Legion now instead of Skynet, and basically wipes out a lot of the population, but a lot of people starve.
Yeah. It doesn't wipe out a whole ton of people. I mean, it runs out like millions of people, but then there's no food, so billions of people die from starvation.
all right.
It actually, like, I guess we don't have to go too into
detail.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I don't want to go nitpicking or anything.
But
Yeah.
we can go straight into
the
what you
feminism?
Yeah, the feminism.
Yeah, tell me about that because you guys were like,
So
I
the
can't
whole
talk
time,
about it.
Sarah and everyone is thinking that she's the mother of the new savior.
Sure.
And you learn from Mackenzie Davis's character that she was raised by Danny's character, that Danny is the savior. She is not birthing a boy. She's not birthing a daughter. She herself is the new savior for the humans.
So Danny is the savior.
Right.
So it was like because of course the new timeline that it doesn't matter because Sarah Connor is the one who's actually the main lead. As you were saying, right? She's
Right.
the main lead.
Yeah,
And so Danny is the person who she. So what is Danny? Do you actually care about? Yeah.
She takes John Connor's spot.
Got it. Well, and that makes sense. That actually does make a lot of sense. That's part of the Hitler theory, right? If somebody went back in time and killed Hitler, somebody else would take over for Hitler's spot. Yeah. Do you care about Danny? Because I think the one thing I liked about T2 was that John Connor was this like brat, but you really enjoyed being around him until and he matures. He becomes like this guy who understands what his role is. Do you get the same out of Danny?
It's not. I didn't
see, but that's my issue with Tim Miller.
I still cared about the character, but it just doesn't have the same impact. But that's a very difficult thing to achieve, though.
Same development
because Terminator 2 is such a classic. You know?
Well, no, but you can still develop a character.
You see, if you do okay, so maybe not the development, but you see the growth.
Okay.
You see from where she is at the beginning. She is this strong Latina female who her brother gets in trouble at work, and she steps up and she speaks to the boss and tells the boss what she thinks of him, all this stuff. And then when all this stuff happens, like she cowers, she's scared, and then Mackenzie Davis like tries to snap out of it, saying, "If you don't fucking do something, you're gonna die, and if you die, everyone's gonna die."
Okay.
So that you see her step up and be like, she's not afraid, she's gonna fight back, and she creates the plan to kill the Rev 9.
Okay. You mentioned something I completely forgot about.
Kill
this.
box.
You mentioned this. She's Latina. This movie is intentionally using race as like a discussion point, and we just had Rambo Last Blood come out, and everyone really recognized how racist that movie was. Do you feel like this movie is talking about race at all? Like, why does this movie take place in Mexico and not in the United States in East LA?
I did happen to read about Tim Miller himself saying that his intention wasn't to go the political route.
Okay.
So he said that he actually used that more as just like
A happenstance type of thing?
Just happenstance, and to get the characters being where they are, but try to like
the thing is, it is a little political because they do have to cross the border into the US.
Yeah, I was just saying, they're
yeah. It is a part of the plot. I mean, they do end up becoming
And then they were
detainees.
detained. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so there. Yeah,
I did like that line. There's a line where she says, "Where's your prisoners?" And she's like, "We call them detainees." And she's like, "The prisoners are over there."
Okay, all right.
That was funny.
And then finally, we get to talk about Arnold Schwarzenegger, the weakest part of this movie.
I mean, I thought
Tell me about Arnie
storyline-
and how they explain him growing old.
Well, that is something that James Cameron set up already. He said that the synthetic skin ages, which is what makes sense why he would grow older. The only thing is that he is in the sexist marriage. Is what he basically said. Right?
He's like, after I took John away from you, I learned
how to love. I learned how to love.
Yeah.
And so he
That's what?
Yeah.
So he kept evolving. Like, my mission was done, so I had no reason to live until I met my wife and her kid.
I don't. What?
Yeah,
No.
yeah. So he's married and he
and he does
an
curtains.
adopted son.
He does drapes.
His name is Carl.
So he has a child.
No.
Yeah,
So
he didn't birth the child. Oh, he didn't have the child.
Yeah.
The child is the mother of.
he's the stepfather.
He's the stepfather. Yeah.
Okay. Now my question really goes very childish. So they're not having sex.
Yeah, it's a sexless thing. He's like, I wasn't made for that, but I'm a good listener. What do you say? I'm a good listener.
like-
I'm very funny.
Yeah. He's like, I'm dependable.
Dependable.
I am very funny.
Yeah.
And then-
This sounds like it's coming from the wrong movie.
Yeah,
That's what we're saying. That Arnold Schwarzenegger was such that whole
yeah.
storyline. So, but here's
That sounds like a setup of a really bad rom-com.
Wait,
which is why you would like it.
No.
yeah, right. But okay, so Sarah's introduction. So Mackenzie Davis. Let me go back. Rewind. So Mackenzie Davis.
Yeah, tell me about Mackenzie.
Finds. Well, I guess another sexist thing I should say is that Mackenzie Davis is naked on the screen for a very long time. Gabriel Luna not naked at once.
So you see her naked, or you?
Yeah, you see her naked.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that's clearly a sexist thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So just throwing that out there.
Okay.
But Mackenzie Davis and she finds they have a cool fight between Gabriel Luna and Mackenzie Davis trying to fight for Danny.
Yeah, we see
And
that.
then finally they get away. They introduce Sarah, which was awesome.
Okay.
But you wonder, like, how the fuck does Sarah know where they are?
Yeah.
So they come up with a storyline that she gets text messages with
Mystery
text messages from a number that she doesn't know.
Okay.
And that she's unable to track. She was only able to track the what is it?
Geolocation?
Yeah,
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
Which happens to be what's tattooed onto Mackenzie Davis's body.
Okay.
So if something goes south, go there. And it turns out
If
it
something
was
goes-
Arnold Schwarzenegger's character.
Sorry, you just said south and she's naked, so I think the obvious joke
Oh,
is...
but by this time she was clothed.
Okay.
But so it's been Arnold who has shown remorse for killing John because now he understands that because he has
He's
son.
a robot. There's no remorse.
Well, if they okay, to be fair, they
No.
did set up in T2 that
Uh-huh.
he does learn, and he is learning to be more human because Sarah is like he's more human than more dad's.
Okay.
So they do kind of establish that in the movie.
So stick to Mackenzie. Tell me about Mackenzie's character. Like, why do I care about this character? Yes, she's naked on screen, but like,
I feel like it's actually Mackenzie Davis's story a lot.
Yeah.
Because we follow her. So we go
it is more
flashbacks
her,
where she's a little kid and when this first whole thing happens, and then her growing up, and then her meeting Danny, and then the reveal that Danny is the savior.
okay, yeah, all right. So she's like a John Connor.
No,
she's
she's
a Kyle-
sorry,
she's
John Connor Sr.
She's the
Kyle
Kyle
Reese.
Reese. Yeah.
Carl Reese. Thank you. I forgot the guy's
Kyle.
name.
Kyle Reese.
Kyle Reese. Yeah. All right. Cool. Anything else I should know before I do not watch this movie?
Like the action sequences are fun with Arnold Schwarzenegger though,
Yeah,
and,
they
and with
are.
Mackenzie
Mackenzie Davis is,
Does he pull his back?
wait,
Please tell me he
so-
pulls his back.
He
No.
doesn't.
He's like, "Ow, get me the chopper.
But I was talking about
Get me the wheelchair."
Mackenzie Davis is flawed. So because she's human,
Yes.
she burns up a lot of metabolism. So the
Twinkies.
first fight with the Rev 9,
Yeah.
she is basically like having would be like a diabetic.
Yeah,
Epilepsy?
she's like dying constantly
she's
in this
dying.
movie.
Oh, okay.
So she
Because-
needs like
'cause
these
she's
meds.
she needs these meds.
Oh, that's really cool.
That they have to steal and like get some like shots or whatever.
All right.
But so they're like, if I die, like you need to run. So it's always like, fuck, not only is Mackenzie Davis going to die soon, but then the Rev 9 is after them. So
That's an interesting.
it does build up some tension because you're like, oh, fuck,
yeah.
what's going to happen?
Yeah. All right. Honestly, like you guys did not sell me on this movie at all.
That's okay.
I don't understand how this movie got made. To be honest, I honestly don't. I mean, and I don't know. We haven't
the
actually.
Studios are thinking that right now too because it is bombing.
We haven't even talked about this, but yeah, it's bombed massively. I think 135 million in the hole, and on top of that, James Cameron is notably upset with this movie. He wished it wasn't made. Do you feel like there was like these like massive plot holes in this movie?
Yeah,
I mean, the Arnold Schwarzenegger sounds like a massive plot hole.
For a reboot, I think if they gotta stop like trying to recreate Terminator 2.
I agree.
That's just what it like. They think that to recreate the same success of Terminator 2, they have to reuse the same plot line. So they just keep doing it over and over again. It's like,
well, that's why I like Salvation because it was a different. Because it was like we see the past. And now Salvation, except for they kind of fucked it up, but they showed the future, and I felt like if they would do that and have the movie set in the future, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I think all of us have
been
been wanting to watch a future version. I mean, we thought Salvation was going to be that, but then it wasn't that, right? Yeah.
Well, it was that up until Sam Worthington's character, really.
Right. Yeah.
They focused too much on his character.
All right. Well, I think my final verdict stays the same. I'm a takeout. I'm not entirely sold on this movie. You know, I want to see it, but I also really was questioning whether or not Tim Miller was the talent behind Deadpool, and now I know for a fact he wasn't.
Well, I think like the action delivers in this though.
Yeah.
So
the action is really great.
Okay.
So
I mean, granted, there are some special effects that are like pretty
Choppy.
hit and miss.
Yeah.
But overall, it's still
Like when they're swimming in the water. That it looked kind of
Gabriel
funky.
Luna when he's jumping in the air every
Oh
every
yeah,
time.
yeah.
Well, it looks
But
like Deadpool. Yeah. Deadpool 1, he looked really bad when he was jumping.
But,
All right.
yeah.
All right. I give the hosting duties back to Dan. Take him away.
Thank you so much, Z, for hosting and making us watch the film.
You're welcome.
So
Actually, you watched it before I made the decision to not watch it, so that's great.
true.
Z rates it, take out, but me and Mike say dine in.
Yes.
So go with which one you want.
Or comment below and let us know what you think.
Yeah, let us
if
know
you
what
saw
you
it.
thought. Did you were you upset about John being killed? Did you think it was a good way to introduce Danny McKenzie and Sarah Connor?
Yeah.
As the new leads. Let us know what you thought about Arnold Schwarzenegger in this film. Did you like him? Was he miscast?
Or would you rather watch a movie in which Ex Machina's Alicia Vikander's character, Vikander jumps into the? I want to see that movie.
That would be interesting.
She's the new Legion.
Yeah, she'd be awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
It sounds like a better plot line already.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Z, for hosting.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mike, for
being
being here.
Yeah.
Thank you, Eric, the one guy.
Yeah, Eric.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, good job, Eric.
And I'm Dan the Man Muñoz, host of Movie Menu Reviews. We'll be back next week with an all-new episode. Make sure to check out our website at moviemenupodcast.com. Follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube channel. Also, subscribe and like us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, SoundCloud, or wherever you listen to your podcast. We are there. We are everywhere. We're taking over like Legion did. We are the new Skynets. Movie Menu Podcast. Until next time, guys, thank you and goodbye.
Goodbye.
2, 3, 4.